Hello and welcome to the second chapter of my Let's Play of Grid Runner using the hero Carbon Corner, who you can see here. And sorry that it took me some time, but I wanted to paint the walls that were missing previously before I conduct the second chapter. Here you can see the layout, the threat level, and also let me just get it into a good view. I just cleaned up my notes from the last time, so we are currently in the 6th turn for this run. We have 400 credits left after we purchased last time the plus 50 bounty upgrade, which you can see here. Currently I have no items for this chapter. Last time I picked up the key for the exit A and B, and I decided to use the exit A. Therefore, this is our layout. And let me just have a look at the chapter. The optional challenge for this one is that we don't spend any credits after leaving. Then we will receive plus 1000 to our high score. I currently didn't calculate our high score, but we also dispatched all enemies in the last run, so therefore let me just get started and I'll see you in the first turn. For Carbon Corner's 6th turn, he will start by using a run action, which increases the threat level by 2 to move 1, 2, 3 at the loot box. And inside are a few credit chips, gain 150 in total. I just already marked it down. For his second activation, he will use a move action, which increases the threat level by just 1. So we have a total of 3 right now, to move 1 and 2 tiles. And for his final action, he will use his special ability, the dash, which allows him to move 3 tiles and attack all in melee. Therefore, we increase the threat level by 3 up to 6. Now Carbon Corner is allowed to move up to 3 tiles. He will just move 2, getting adjacent to this ranged goon. Now Corner will attack him with using 3 dice, getting a plus 5 at each die for his melee value. He rolls a 16, a 20 and an 18, plus 5 each, but each roll already is above the defense of 12. 3 damage to the ranged goon, who only has a health of 2. Therefore this goon is already dispatched. The goon has a bounty of 200 plus the upgrade. Corner will get an additional 250 credits as the bounty for this goon. And next, after Corner's activation, we will make a noise roll, grabbing a dice. Let's see the result. It's an 11. Keep the current threat level. And now the enemies will activate. With this, we have a medium threat level, therefore all enemies in the room with you activate, which means the remaining 2 melee goons and the remaining ranged goon. A room is a section any of the board fully surrounded by terrain, board edges and closed door. Since there are no borders such as these, all of the enemies will activate. We will begin with bosses, but there are no bosses, so continuing on with melee enemies. They will move towards the closest unoccupied tile adjacent to the grid runner by the number of tiles equal to their speed characteristic. So the melee goons have a speed characteristic of 2. So these 2 are allowed to move 2 tiles. And once they moved, if the enemy reaches an adjacent tile or was already in it, they perform a melee attack. Since with a speed value of 2, I will just move them. 1, 2, he will get here. And the other melee goon will move 2 tiles. 1, 2, he will just step right onto the entrance. Let me push a little bit outwards. So, here they are. If they finish the move on another tile and have a vision to the grid runner, I would say this is the case for both of them. they perform a ranged attack. So, starting with the first goon, he has 1 die and gets a -3 penalty to it. And since we have a medium threat level, the goons would have +2 melee die, but not this does not occur to their range attack, so therefore 1 die with a -3. He rolls a 9, -3, it's a total of 6, and Carbon Connor has a defense of 12, which is not enough to wound Carbon Connor. Then the second melee goon will make a range attack. He rolls a 12, which usually would be enough, but since he gets a -3 penalty to his range attack, he's also unable to wound Carbon Connor. Next, the range enemies. They do not move if they already have vision to the grid runner, which is not the case because of more than one wall. Then they immediately perform a range attack. If the grid runner is out of sight, they move towards the closest unoccupied tile from which they have vision by the number of tiles equal to their speed statistic. I would say it should be roughly around here from Connor's current position, so therefore the range goon has a movement of 2. I will just decide that he will move down this corridor just to have a better line of sight towards this corridor and maybe interfere when Connor will run towards or through this corridor. And yeah, they move towards the close unoccupied tile from which they have vision by the number equal to the speed. And if they reach a tile from which they can perform a ranged attack or a melee if the tile happens to be adjacent to the grid runner. So this is not the case, and therefore he will only move. And going back to the turn order, since all enemies have activated, we come to the round's end, and therefore the threat level is reduced by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are down to a threat level of 2. Let me think about Connor's next activation, and I will see you then. For Connor's 7th turn, I decided to start by using his once per turn ability Dash, therefore increasing his threat level by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then, let me just put him a little bit to the side, or turn him around. 1, 2, 3, because Connor will use his dash to charge into this melee goon. It's a bit close here, so here he is. Then use his melee attack with 3 dice. He rolls an 18, 10, and a 16, plus 5 each, therefore 15, 21, and 23. Each one is enough to get above the defense of 12 of the melee goon and reduces 2 health to 0. Therefore the goon is dispatched. Let me just write it down. Connor gets a credit of usually 200, but since he has the upgrade bounty plus 50, he gets another 250 credits for this. So, since he's unable to reach the next goon with a run action, the melee goon you can see here, because it's each 4 tiles, Connor will actually retreat a little bit. Let me just check it. Move action increases the threat level by 1. Therefore, he could make 1 movement without increasing the threat level above a level to get into the high. But I think Connor's actually in a quite good position because the melee goon can only move 2 tiles, so up to this tile or up to this tile. And also the range goon only will move 2 tiles, so therefore both will be unable to attack Connor. And Connor will be able to attack at least the melee goon in the next turn. So with this, I think Connor is done for this activation. And also this has a benefit of rolling for the noise. With a 19, he keeps the current threat level, but a 1 would have increased it by 2, and that would be the highest, so this was already a little bit of a gamble. Now next, let's go on. The melee goon will move his 2 tiles up to here, and the range goon will also move up his 2 tiles, 1, 2, up to here. And with this, we are getting to the end of the turn and reducing the threat level to 1. Also when this costs Connor a turn, but I think this will be more beneficial, so let me get ready for his next turn, and I'll see you in turn 8. In turn 8, Connor will continue with his hit and run tactic. So first of all, he will use a move action and increase the threat level by 1 with this, so that he can move his speed of 2. Let me just get the terrain once again in order. Connor moves 2 spaces, 1 and 2, next to the melee goon. Then next, he uses an attack action, increasing the threat level by 2. Rolling 3 dice, 16, 7, and another 7. Therefore, each of these 7 plus 5 is 12, and the 16 will get to 21. Once again, enough to dispatch of this melee goon, who is out of order. Connor will receive, because of the update, another total of 250 credits. And since as I said in my previous video of Grid Runner, I will open the other 2 chests, because I'm curious what will be inside, since this is my first play with this character. He will increase the threat level again by 1 and moves back 2 tiles to get into cover from the range goon. With this, I will make a noise roll, which will be an 18. He keeps the current threat level. Connor's quite lucky in this chapter. Now the range goon will move. He will move 1, 2 tiles, checking the corridors. He does not see Connor. And with this, we come to the round's end, and therefore, the threat level will be reduced by 4. Down to 1 once again. So let me just think about Connor's 9th turn, and I'll catch you then. So for Connor's 8th turn, 9th turn, I think I have the plan going on forward. This turn, my goal is to eliminate the range goon, and then afterwards to open the 2 chests or loot boxes. He should usually enter his position according to plan here. Then 1, 2, 3 squares, enough to get to this chest. So this will be in the next turn his first activation. Then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to get to the other chest. This will be his second and third activation. And then in the following turn, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and getting through the exit. So if everything is according to plan, the 9th turn, this 9th, 10th and 11th. But to see if this will be the case, let me just make a note here. We are currently in the 9th turn of Carbon Connor. So he starts by using 2 move action, each increase the threat level by 1, 1, 2. And with this, Carbon Connor will move 1, 2, 1, 2, going where this die just was. Now Carbon Connor will attack the goon with a melee attack, increasing the threat level up to 5. So 2 7s or more, and we have an 18, a 16 and 20. Each die would have been enough without his benefit, his bonus of 5. So another goon dispatched, and another total of 250 credits for Carbon Connor. And this was his 9th turn. As I said, I will just jump right into his next activation, because I will save the noise roll, because it does not matter, because all enemies are dispatched in this location. Therefore, no enemy will activate, and I also don't have to keep an eye on the threat level, because since there are no enemies left, it will be reduced to 0. So in his 10th turn, 1, 2, 3, Carbon Connor will open this loot box. Let me see what it will be. This is loot box 3. You step on a hypo. Heal 1. Okay, since Carbon Connor did not take any wounds, this is meaningless. So this was his first activation. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He will step on the loot box and then will go right back. So this is the loot box 1 or crate 1. The ornamented box contains a few beautiful engraved rings. Gain 500 to your high score. Okay, now let me just get another section high score. And this will be plus 500. So, and now it will be Carbon Connor's 11th turn. And he will move 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, getting out of this location. So, with this, Carbon Connor receives a total of 1,150 extra credit for 1,550 credits in total. He has a high score of plus 500, and now I have to think about if I want to get plus 1,000 high score for the optional challenge of not spending any credits after leaving. And I'm not sure currently. I think about it and come back to you later. As you can see here in my credits, I was very undecisive about spending credits or not. I first thought it would be nice to buy another melee die to get a total of 4 melee dice for 250 credits. But in the end, I opted against it and get the plus 1,000 to the high score and keep my credits of 1,550. And the reason for this is I think that improving Connor's range attacks will be not of any benefits because he has only 1 die for 1 damage with -4 penalty, so that I think would be a money sink to improve that. His defense of 12 is okay. I took a peek at the enemy cards, and the end boss will have a +6 anyway to his melee with 3 dice, and I think with the +5 of Connor for his dice, and the boss also has only a defense of 12 himself, I think Connor's melee capability is already good enough. +1 speed costed 1,400 credits, and that was a little bit too much for my taste. Same with 1,000 credits for health +1. Connor has a health statistic of 5, so he's quite resilient. Therefore, I also decided against it. So with this, we are currently on turn 11. We have 1,550 credits. We have the upgrade bounty +50. And we have a high score total of plus 1,500. Reduced by the turns, currently we would have a high score of plus 400. And adding our credits to this total, we would be around 1,950 as our high score. So with this, I'll see you in the next part of my first run of the Abduction scenario.